105. Southbound side of the fence, that's going to load up from the 60. Very typical slowing through Pico Rivera. Looks like most of the way now through the 5 before that loosens up. Our latest homeless who can't but fire, just bringing out a little round the corner there. That's in the San Gabriel River, just adjacent to South El Monte High School. Looks like Durfee is now closed down, essentially between Peck Road and Santa Anita. Incident and accident, visit superwomansuperlawyer.com. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the sky.
And if you're headed down the 14 freeway through the Vasquez Rocks area, southbound side, right before Agua Dulce Canyon, crash in the carpool lane there, and a fluid spill. That's got things heavy approaching on both sides. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Will Kohlschreiber.
This report is sponsored by the Auto Club of Southern California. Did you know the Auto Club offers competitive rates on auto insurance? Go to AAA.com/insurance for a free quote today and find out how much you could save. Insurance through the Auto Club. Visit AAA.com/insurance today.
So you love those Solar Max panels, right?
I write Valentine's Day cards to my solar panels even when it's not Valentine's Day.
Meant to be together?
Absolutely. Solar Max has a brand new offer as well. They have the new Tesla 420 panels and power walls for $79.96 per month and $0 down.
Call pound 250 from your cell phone, say that keyword Solar Max, pound 250, say Solar Max, or go to solarmaxtech.com.
Monthly payment available on approved credit. See SLB number 972048.
I want to break free.
Break free in 2022 with Norwegian's Labor Day sale. Book your cruise today and enjoy 30% off, free open bar, and much more. With our leading health and safety program, you can cruise with the ultimate freedom on 100% fully vaccinated ships that are fully open to explore. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Ships registry to Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
If you're self-employed and have been denied by traditional lenders, Equinox Home Financing can help. You shouldn't be penalized for being an entrepreneur. Instead of using tax returns, they use personal or business bank statements for income. Go to equinoxhomefinancing.com.
Licensed by the California Department of Real Estate and the California Department of Financial Oversight, NMLS number 1212805.
House paint. It's a big bucket of denial. Painting over your home's exterior problems only makes things worse because beneath the new paint, your cracks are expanding, water damage is creeping up the sides of the house, and wood is rotting like bad fruit. Hi, I'm Steve, creator of Deluxe Life Coat. Unlike painters, we restore your home's exterior using our exclusive 12-step process. We water blast, repair every single crack and chip, and fix any wood rot till your house looks brand new. After we're done, you'll never have to paint your home again. That's why Deluxe Life Coat has the best lifetime warranty in the industry. It covers flaking, peeling, and yes, even cracking. What paint can say that? If paint has you in denial, you don't need a therapist. Just call Deluxe Life Coat. Call Deluxe Life Coat right now and get 20% off and pay no interest for 2 years. 800-947-5500. 800-947-5500. That's 800-947-5500 or visit deluxelifecoat.com. Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Looking for your next investment? Want to cash out of stock market risk and volatility? Here are 8 reasons to consider NRIA's proven real estate development fund. Monthly cash flow payouts of 10% annualized and bonuses to 21% targeted. We strategically locate in lower risk, high demand areas people are moving to. New construction is short on supply. Real estate affords diversification and safety from stock market risk and volatility. We have substantial property assets selling out every month supporting your investment. Our short and long-term strategy provides for steady returns today and major upside targets. Our buildings are socially responsible, environmentally friendly, and pandemic hardened. We are an industry leader with a 15-year proven track record. Hedge against inflation and receive steady cash flow. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Our iconic iHeartRadio Music Festival is finally back. September 17th and 18th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Billie Eilish, Cheap Trick, Coldplay, Dua Lipa, Phineas, Florida Georgia Line, J. Cole, Journey, Khalid, Little Baby, Maroon 5, Nelly, Sam Hunt, Weezer, and more. Streaming free on the CW app and CWTV.com and live on iHeartRadio stations across America. Our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Wake up call.
I get up at 2:45 so that you can sleep in until 4:59 so that you're ready to go for wake up call.
Mornings at 5 on KFI.
Belt and Ken Shampoo, Kfi Am 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, speaking of Venice, a big story over the weekend is that 3 people were found dead in Venice. They overdosed, reportedly, and it hasn't been confirmed yet by labs, fentanyl-laced cocaine, which apparently, boy, if you just Google it, is going on all over the country. People think they're buying cocaine, but apparently to increase the potency, apparently fentanyl, which is really a dangerous drug, is often added in there as a sort of a, it's cheap to make and easily mixed in or cut into the drugs. It can be found in heroin or cocaine and formed into pills that are sold on the street in the guise of other substances. That's why we're seeing more of these stories, because the people that distribute these drugs have found it to be a way to increase the potency and to make a cheap additive to the cocaine, but apparently every now and then it takes a few lives, including these 3 people who are found dead. Fentanyl is 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine.
Can you imagine? I understand why people take drugs. It's just the way they ingest drugs from random sources, and they don't really have any idea what's in them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just poisoning yourself, intentionally poisoning yourself with these unknown substances. You don't know where they came from or what's in them. That's what you get what you deserve sometimes. You play that game, you're going to end up dead.
It is a horrible game of drug roulette.
It is.
There's test strips for fentanyl that you can use. This story I'm reading is wondering why they're not more heavily distributed. Small strips of paper that can detect the presence of fentanyl in any drug batch, pills, powder, or injectables. They think it could be a real lifesaver for people like this who just want to go on a coke bender and don't know that what they have in front of them has fentanyl in it. So the test strip might help them avert a disaster. I
just don't think people who go on coke benders are going to do test strips.
They're not thinking too much about that kind of precaution.
Right, otherwise because they wouldn't be taking the cocaine to begin with, because they don't know where it's from. You know, it's. I mean, where do you buy cocaine? You buy it from guys in the street, contacts in shabby little apartments.
It's probably online stuff you can find now.
Yeah, connected to drug gangs and the cartels, and they're all trying to make their drugs more potent, so you get a bigger pop, and then you'll come back and buy more. It's like, what do you think is going to happen?
All right, when we return, we're going to talk once again to the Sacramento County District Attorney Anne-Marie Schubert, who is running for California State Attorney General. She has more details on this horrible story out of Sacramento. A transient parolee sexually assaults, murders a woman, kills her dogs, and lights the whole house on fire. Does it get any worse? Despite lengthy criminal record, he was released early from prison. We'll talk about all of the detail with Anne-Marie when we come back.
John and Ken Show, Deborah Marquez News, KFI AM 640.
No axes to grind here. What do you think we are, lumberjacks? How do you even grind an axe anyway?
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Chaos at the jail. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Police are investigating reports of an inmate with a gun at the Men's Central Jail in downtown L.A. The jail has been put on lockdown while officers look for the weapon. The deputy DA who prosecuted the parents of 2 boys tortured and murdered in the Antelope Valley is suing L.A. County. The lawsuit from Deputy DA John Hitami alleges retaliation, race discrimination, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress for being outspoken about the directives of DA George Gascon. Hitami says he reported the alleged harassment and defamatory conduct to Supervisor Catherine Barger, but never heard back. Robert Kennedy's wife says his killer should not be set free.
Ethel Kennedy says her family and the country suffered an unspeakable loss due to the inhumanity of one man, Sirhan Sirhan. Sirhan assassinated Robert Kennedy in June of '68 at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Last month, a 2-person panel recommended parole for the 77-year-old. LA County DA Gascon chose not to oppose the parole, and at least 2 members of the Kennedy family support Sirhan's release. Ethel Kennedy, who's now 93, says her husband wanted to end the war in Vietnam and bring people together to build a better, stronger country.
Steve Gregory, Kfi News.
Voters in Southern California are sounding off as the election to possibly kick out the governor closes in.
With Election Day just 1 week away, this union electrician says he's in favor of keeping Governor Newsom in office.
As unionists, we're the last line of defense for working-class families in California. And we have an ally in Sacramento right now who's willing to open the door, discuss things with us.
This voter in Orange County was dropping off his ballot in favor of removing the governor.
A lot of his agenda has hurt our state with taxes, with the way he's treated the children in education.
Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Fire officials say containment lines for the big wildfire near Lake Tahoe are holding well. Firefighters have been at it for more than 3 weeks. Mickey Brunelli of the Merced Fire Department has worked a 34-hour shift as part of his time on the front lines, but says it's worth it.
It's a privilege to help our community in times of need, and it's an honor that they have that kind of faith in us, that they allow us to come into their community and try to help them in their time of need.
The fire is 49% surrounded. It has burned more than 216,000 acres and destroyed almost 1,000 buildings. More than 3/4 have been homes. President Biden has gotten a tour of parts of New York and New Jersey affected by flooding caused by what was Hurricane Ida. Biden says better rebuilding is needed to deal with future storms.
Whatever damage done in New Jersey, you can't build back and restore what it was before. Because another tornado, another 10 inches of rain is going to produce the same kind of results.
The storm last week killed dozens of people in both states. Many drowned in their cars and some died in their homes. 7 nursing homes in Louisiana have been shut down because of their handling of residents during Hurricane Ida. The state health department says more than 800 nursing home residents were crammed into a filthy warehouse for several days last week. New Orleans City Council member Kristen Palmer says there were also 5 residents who stayed at the nursing homes and died in the heat after the storm.
They're saying they're independent living. Yeah, you can be independent if you have electricity and a working elevator.
The residents who are housed in the warehouse have been moved into other facilities. We have a crash on the 405 in Inglewood.
This time it's the southbound side of the 405, just past the 105 multi-vehicle injury wreck, all in the left lane. And even beyond that, traffic stays slowed down to the 605 on that 405 southbound. KFI in the Sky, sponsored by injury attorney, superwomansuperlawyer.com. Mike O'Brien checking out some things in East LA.
Yes, the 60 eastbound, it is a tough one. Starting right out of East LA interchange, on the brakes most of the way through Montebello out towards Paramount. It loosens up a bit for a few miles. Back on the brakes out of Hacienda Heights, on and off to a problem working on the merge with the 57, right around Grand there in Diamond Bar. Looks like they're just clearing out a lane. It's also going to be adding to slowing of the North 57. Tight squeeze there on that Orange Freeway back before Diamond Bar Boulevard, just coming out of Orange County. And it looks like the eastbound side of the 10. You've got lots of slowing from Cloverfield out of downtown Santa Monica into downtown Los Angeles. Injured in an accident? Visit superwomansuperlawyer.com. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the Sky.
And they're still working on this rollover crash, 710 northbound before the 91. It's in the right lane. Traffic stop and go back from Pico Avenue. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Will Kohlschreiber.
This hour of KFI is brought to you by Sunlux, your best value in solar for all your energy needs. Sunlux.com.
Getting hotter. We'll talk about that next.
Life is full of surprises, and one of the worst surprises is when you get into an accident and you're hurt. And that's where our friends at Sweet James Accident Attorneys come in.
Hey, you see, personal injury is the only thing Sweet James does. They've helped thousands of listeners, just like you, get the medical treatment you need, and they've recovered millions of dollars for them every month.
There's no justice in accepting a lowball offer from an insurance company. None at all. It's terrible. Your injury has changed your life, and then they offer you nickels.
You will need help navigating the legal system to make sure you get medical care, to get your vehicle repaired, and get the most amount of money possible. And know this, you will not pay a dime until they win your case.
If you've been hurt in an accident, you can call Sweet James. Free consultation. 800-500-5200. 800-500-5200. SweetJames.com. Got Tom? SweetJames.com. Get justice with Sweet James.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance. while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
The KFI Financial Report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow closed down 269, S&P 500 down 15, NASDAQ up 11, and the average price of a gallon of regular gas in California is $4.39.
Bay Alarm will keep your commercial fire system in compliance so you're up to code, not up all night.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot tomorrow, low to mid-70s at the beaches, mid-80s to around 90 for Metro LA, mid-80s to around 101 in the valleys, 90 for Inland OC, upper 90s to around 102 in the IE, and even warmer for Thursday. Right now, 84 in Orange, it's 74 in Huntington Beach, 92 in Northridge, and 88 in Sun Valley. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Deborah Mark.
John and Ken Show, John Cobell and Ken Champeau, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey, welcome everybody. The Moist Line is coming back very soon, just 3 days away. It's at 1-877-MOIST-86, 1-877-664-7886. I'm looking at a new story in the El Segundo Times today. 10 months after California voters rejected a state law to eliminate cash bail for many offenses, a new fight is brewing in the legislature over another plan by lawmakers that would slash the amount arrestees must pay to get out of jail. It's that State Senator Bob Hertzberg. He never gives up even though the voters told him no. The bail people say they'll sue if this becomes law.
I don't get this. What is with Hertzberg? Why does he want criminals out on no bail? What is this? Didn't we have him on in studio with this bill years ago? His another version of it.
I remember he was running for mayor of L.A. He came in the studio. Remember that?
Well, we had him on the phone, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. We had him on the phone. That was nasty.
Yes. Because
I think either we hung up on him or he hung up on us. I don't know.
Yeah, because he was pushing his no bail nonsense, and now the public told him to stop it, and now he's back with more. And we have a great story. It's a
horrible story, but it's Sacramento.
It's a great example why this no bail policy is absolutely insane. There's the case of Troy Davis, and he was let out on zero bail in June for stealing a car. He's got a really long history of violent crimes. And they think he was one of Gavin Newsom's felons let out of prison early for good behavior. According to the California Globe, they learned that Davis served maybe half of his prison time before he was let out. Not 80%, but 50%. And now he may have raped and murdered a Sacramento woman, killing her dogs and setting her house on fire.
It doesn't get any more horrible than that.
All right, to stitch all this together, we're going to talk with Anna Marie Schubert. We've had her on the show many times. She's the district attorney in Sacramento.
She's, of course, running for Attorney General of California.
Anna Marie Schubert, welcome again. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Tell us about this guy's background first.
Well, I can tell you, I first remember that this case is pending, so there's limited things I can talk about. But what I can tell you is that he's charged in our felony complaint with, obviously, the murder of Mary Tibbetts. He's charged, alleged to have a special circumstance, which means he's eligible for capital punishment if that decision is made in the future. That would be because he is accused of breaking into her home. He's then charged with another residential burglary. He's charged with assault with intent to commit rape. He's charged with arson of a residence, and he's charged with 2 counts of killing her dog. And then what we can tell you about his past is that in our charging document, which I think is quite known to the public now, is that he suffered 2 prior violent strikes, one of which is a robbery, and that was out of Santa Cruz County, and then a assault with a deadly weapon that was here out of Sacramento. So those are the crimes he went to prison for, and then was released last December.
And was he released prematurely?
I think that's a question that you need to address the corrections, because there's a lot of, it's complex in terms of when he got credits, he didn't get credits, but I think to be fair and transparent, that his question should be directed at corrections on how much of his time he actually served on that sentence.
Yeah, if they would even give us an answer on that.
So he was recently nabbed for stealing a car? Is that what happened?
He was arrested, so he got parole in December of 2020, and he was arrested in June of this year for a felony, stealing of a car, and a couple other things, allegations of drugs and receiving stolen property, and that was the crime that he was released on zero bail. So no conditions, no posting of anything. I don't even know if I don't think he ever saw a judge. He was just in and out.
So they arrest him on a felony. He just got out of prison on a felony, and there's no bail, but I thought we passed a proposition that says you have to have bail.
Well, the voters, what happened was the legislature passed a bill that, the SB 10, which was the Hertzberg bill before, Hertzberg and Bonta, to basically make all these zero bail things. Then there was a referendum to get rid of it, and so the public said, no, we want to keep a bail system. And so, but then COVID hit, and there was a number of things that were put into place to try to reduce the population within the jail settings to reduce COVID. And so there was, as I would say, there was a tsunami of things that have occurred. But the overall bigger thing is that, we continuously try to erode and we're setting up these policies that are endangering the community. I'm not talking about this particular case, but in general, these are, Hertzberg's latest bill is just another example of step and release that endangers our community.
Why does Hertzberg and the rest of them want to let a guy like this out of prison? And he rapes, he murders, he sets the house on fire, he kills the dogs. I mean, it's an unbelievable heinous string of crimes. Do they all think this is a good idea?
Well, I think you have to ask Hertzberg that, but I think that from my perspective, the latest amendments to his bills make it so onerous that virtually everybody can, if I'm a rich guy and I bought 10 Maseratis and so I don't have any cash on hand anymore, I get to say I can't afford anything until I can get out on zero bail. I mean, and that's the concern. You can't consider the prior history, all those things, and so that's very concerning to us that are on the public safety side of this, is that, these poor policies have real-life consequences. And that's the thing that the public needs to understand, is that we've got some of these bills, even though the voters tell you we want to keep a bail system, they're going farther than the Supreme Court says you have to go in terms of defining somebody's ability to pay. And so that is something that's very concerning, and I'm hopeful that people are realizing the consequences of these kinds of poor policies.
Now, the co-author of that bill with Hertzberg was Rob Bonta, who's now the Attorney General, and you're running against him.
That's true.
And today we have an Attorney General who would co-write a bill getting rid of bail.
He's co-authored it before. I mean, there's plenty of bills that I can cite that are ones that, he either authored or co-sponsored that are continuous erosion of accountability and the erosion of victims' rights. And so, this bail stuff, the reality is that, we're never going to get rid of crime, and we have to protect the community, but we have bills that are coming through our legislature that are whittling down, the consequences, the accountability, and conditions.
Why do they want a world like this, where a woman gets raped and murdered and her home's burned down by one of these guys? Why do they want this to happen? They don't know it's going to happen. You let enough bad guys out, and they're whacked out on drugs or they're crazy on their own. What's the point
I don't live in that filter. I mean, I've grown up in this criminal justice system for 30 years, and I understand and listen to crime victims and the trauma that it causes to them. So I look at it perhaps through a different filter, because Rob Bonta, and I don't believe Hertzberg has ever been a prosecutor. So until you have, sat with them and understood the consequences of violent crime and the realities of what these policies are doing, then it's difficult to understand what I'm doing this year.
Most people aren't prosecutors, and most people instinctively understand the suffering that's going on. All you have to do is just read the news or hear the news every day, and you know the terrible suffering. I mean, usually what the TV stations cover are the victims and the families. So it's every day. I just don't understand. It's like psychotic to me to be letting prisoners out so easily.
Well, I mean, It's very concerning, and we've gotten to this point where we've lost any sense of balance of meaningful accountability. Somebody has to, suffer the consequences of crime, and victims' rights have to be considered, and they have been abandoned. Their rights have been abandoned over the last several years, where to the point that these policies are more about letting people out and weakening the consequences for crime than it is for protecting the community and protecting crime victims' rights.
All right, Anne-Marie, thanks for talking to us once again. How can people find out more about your campaign for Attorney General?
Oh, SchubertForAG.com, and I appreciate you all having me on.
All right, Sacramento County District Attorney Anne-Marie Schubert, our guest, running, of course, to replace Rob Bonta as California's Attorney General. More coming up. Donning 10 KFI, Deborah Marquez News.
The LAPD is looking for women who may have been sexually assaulted by a man posing as a personal trainer. A former Montebello police officer has pleaded guilty to taking at least $14,000 in bribes from a drug trafficker. El Salvador has become the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender. We'll go to the 91, and we will check in with the KFI in the Sky next.
Income-eligible renters impacted by COVID-19 can now get 100% of their past due rent and utility bills paid through the California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program. Landlords with tenants who haven't paid rent because of COVID-19 are eligible for 100% reimbursement too. The application is fast, your information is private, and you won't be asked about citizenship. Apply at housingisKey.com before eviction protections end on September 30th. Brought to you by the California Department of Housing and Community Development.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Staples Stores.
Former Laker Cedric Ceballos is hospitalized in an intensive care unit as he battles a COVID-19 infection. Legendary USC running back Sam Bam Cunningham has passed away at the age of 71. He's credited with accelerating racial integration in college football. And NFL Players Association President J.C. Treader is calling for the league to go back to daily COVID-19 testing across the board. Right now, vaccinated players are tested weekly, while unvaccinated players are tested daily. I'm Jimmy Capper.
Staples Connect has amazing prices for everything on your back-to-school list. Right now, Crayola 12-count color pencils, 10 plus 2 Crayola marker bonus packs, and Staples 2-pack scissors are just 97 cents each. Offer ends 9/18, limit 30 on Crayola, limit 6 on scissors. Staples.
From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. It's slow on the 91 in Anaheim Hills.
Eastbound side, starting around Imperial Highway, you're going to hit the brakes, making your way on out towards Cold Canyon, just the usual stop-and-go grind there. KFI in the Sky is sponsored by injury attorney Superwoman, Superlawyer.com. Mike O'Brien looking at things in Diamond Bar.
Yeah, and the profit spot on the bridge of the 57 north and the 60 eastbound, right at Graham. They just cleared a few minutes ago for the middle lanes there, so leaving things extra tight. East 60 backing up to the Hacienda Boulevard. North 57 with a tight squeeze there coming out of Orange County, leaving Connor Canyon. South 57, extra tight these days. It's stuck in some of these lanes there a while back, and it's pretty heavy every day on this South 57 from Brea down to Placentia. By the time you hit the 91, it loosens up pretty nicely there. And it also looks like the eastbound side of the 10 on the brakes in from City Terrace most of the way into West Covina before it shakes free. If you an accident, visit Superwoman, Superlawyer.com. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the Sky.
And some good news coming from the north. The 14 freeway northbound right before Escondido Canyon Road. Crash has been cleared, but traffic taking its time to recover all the way back from Agua Dulce. Terrible drive on that northbound 14. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Will Colschreiber.
This report is sponsored by iAccidentLawyer.com.
Tired of the BS? You spent $500,000 on risk. Result $8 million for leg-injured motorcyclists.
Attention homeowners, Interactive Mortgage has dropped rates again to a rock bottom 1.75% rate in APR. Yes, it's incredible. A rock bottom 1.75%. And if that's not enough, Interactive Mortgage will even pay your title, escrow, and appraisal fees. That's right, no points and no fees. Absolutely zero. Zilch. None. So what are you waiting for? Call now and take advantage of these never-before-offered rates. A 1.75% rate in APR with no fees whatsoever. Call Interactive Mortgage now at 844-371-CASH. That's 844-371-CASH.
844-371-2274 or visit interactivemortgage.com.
Link One Corporation, DBA Interactive Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, terms and conditions apply. New client owns loan amount $300,000 to $548,250, minimum FICO of 740, and maximum LTV of 60%. All loans subject to underwriting approval, and not all applicants will qualify. Loans made or arranged pursuant to California Finance Law License number 603F938, NMLS number 30235.
Hey, it's your buddy Conway here. Have you ever been in the backyard barbecuing with the kids and you want a really cold beer, but not all that alcohol in that hot sun? Boom! Reach for a Heineken 0.0. It's all the quality you love in Heineken and with zero alcohol. I call that a dig dog. Now you can enjoy an ice-cold can of Heineken and still rule the pool area. So grab a pack or get one delivered and put the can back into summer. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly.
Spectrum Business called their competitors to see if any of them could beat Spectrum's Business Internet Plus phone offer for $69.98 per month with no added phone taxes or fees. Here are real quotes from the competition.
I really call the no fees of taxes. That's magic.
I would 100% go with Spectrum.
Even the competition recommends Spectrum Business. Call 855-339-5344 and switch to Spectrum Business today. Competitor quotes from actual phone conversations. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Call for details.
Have you received your free AAA full picture quote? It gives you a 360-degree view of your auto insurance quote. From premiums to coverages to discounts. Visit AAA.com/insurance to see how much you could save.
If you want out of your house, moving, downsizing, you have financial issues, maybe you've inherited, so you list it with a broker, and that means hours of cleaning and painting and repairing and paying big fees. So let me give you another way of doing it. You get a fair price without any of that. The buyer never walks through your house, there's never an appraisal, no commissions, and you can get paid in cash within 10 days or less if you need it. That's directbuyers.com. That's the company that Janet and Matt, brother and sister, own, and I love the way they do business. They'll never lowball you. They're just honest folks. And let me tell you, a lot of schmucks in this industry, and that's not what they are. They'll give you an honest, no-obligation offer and even offer a $15,000 cash advance before closing. Go to directbuyers.com. That's directbuyers.com. Call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com.
Hi, I'm host Sophie Morgan, inviting you to listen to Equal 2, a new podcast about achieving disability equality. With the Paralympic Games happening in Tokyo, we're asking, where should the story go next? Equal 2 is brought to you by the Emmy Award-winning team that created Rising Phoenix and made possible by the support of Procter & Gamble. Listen to Equal 2, that's Equal, T-O-O, task-centered conversations on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Chris Little, the news director, the guy who's in charge of the news over here at KFI AM 640. How long have you known KFI? Since 1991.
Tim, tell him his zipper's thing.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show. Weeknights at 6. I wish I had headphones. I could hear everybody.
Oh, this is so much better.
Questions on KFI.
Johnny King Show, John Trobell, Ken Stampo, KFI, AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, we sure hope that Anne Marie Schubert, the Sacramento County DA, does become Attorney General next year, because we're down this road with guys like George Gascon, the LA County DA, and of course the current Attorney General was appointed by Newsom, Rob Bonta. It's another reason to recall Newsom, because, you put this guy in charge, and he's on the side of this criminal justice reform, which is absolute lunacy. We just talked about a parolee in a no-bail situation who apparently sexually assaulted, murdered a woman in her own home, set the place on fire, killed a couple of dogs, too.
We don't have a name of the victim, do we? I'm looking at stories, trying to find out. It just says she's from the Land Park section of Sacramento.
Yeah, I think Anne Marie might have said her name, but I don't remember it myself. But yeah, the one story we have doesn't have her name.
Yeah.
There's also, we talk a lot on this show about Prop 47, the one that has led to the shoplifting and the homeless problem with the drugs. Prop 57 is one that could be worse. It passed in 2016. It's the bill that's allowing him to release early perhaps 76,000 inmates. It's also the bill that bars prosecutors from trying juveniles as adults without a judge's approval. It's also retroactive. Previously convicted juvenile defendants whose cases were filed in adult court can seek what is known as a transfer hearing, in which their case sort of goes back to juvenile court, they get resentenced. The El Segundo Times story over the weekend was about the brutal killing of a young man back in 2013. It was sort of a gang-related killing. And his murder, he was stabbed to death by two brothers on a handball court in Reseda. His murderer was tried as an adult, got 16 years to life in 2015, but because of Prop 57 and George Gascon, he can be released in just 1 year. He will now probably be released before 2022. That's even this year then. What do you think about that? The family agonizes in the story. They can't believe that that could happen. This is another piece of their criminal justice reform, headlined in the story as restorative justice.
By the way, I hate these stupid phrases. Reform, restorative. No, it's just about dumping violent prisoners out into the streets. There's no reform. Nothing's being restored. They don't believe it's murderers. The murderers ought to be in prison.
Let's be clear what we're talking about. These are murderers that George Gascon wants to see free before they're 25 years old. That's hard to believe. But that's where we are now.
In the story, Kevin Oriana's brother, Guillermo, says, we feel like it's not America, like we're not in the United States or in some other country that's corrupt. What happened? What did we do wrong? Well, what happened is these propositions were passed. They were very confusing. The people who pushed the propositions lied extensively with television commercials. Jerry Brown, the governor at the time, lied when he spoke about it publicly. Most people had no idea that they were giving carte blanche to the state correctional system and the governor to let out tens of thousands of violent felons. If that was on the ballot, hey, would you like to approve a resolution, a referendum to let out tens of thousands of violent felons as soon as possible? That thing would have been voted down 95-5. But it was marketed as something entirely different. And people were fooled. And now we've got the consequences here.
Anne-Marie Schubert's mentioned in the story because, unlike George Gascon, she's not running with this Prop 57 to release these juvenile killers. Says her office reviewed 22 cases since 2017 in which juvenile defendants who have been tried in adult court invoked their right to transfer their hearing back to juvenile court. Prosecutors there have fought to keep 15 of those cases in adult court, succeeded in 7 cases are pending. So she's fighting this. This is the kind of prosecutor you want in charge of the state, because this is absolutely crazy. And Gascon, completely on the other hand, he's run with this Prop 57 in an effort to release anybody that was under 18 at the time that got tried in adult court. That's his thing. He wants to do that. He believes they're safe in society. Really. Murderers. He takes us to the level of murderers. Hard to believe.
And good moment to tell you, recall GeorgeGascon.com, and you could download and sign a petition to recall him. They need money for signature gathering. They really need money. So if there's anybody out there with means, we can get Gascon recalled. The public is against him, but it's a difficult process when you don't have money to hire signature gatherers. So we're just putting out the call. If you've got any money, we're looking for some serious money here. Obviously, we'll take the $10 and $20 contributions because everything helps. But we need some serious benefactors here to remove Gascon and stop
this nonsense. There's a poll that shows that a lot of people favor his removal.
Yeah, big time.
You got to get them to sign petitions. All right, we got more coming up.
Johnny Can, KFI, Deborah Marquez News.
4 people have been hurt in a crash involving a car that ended up slamming into a homeless camp in Koreatown. LA City Fire Assistant Chief Antoine McKnight says a crane was used to lift the car off of the homeless man.
Fortunately, there was a couch where the person was on, so he was cushioned somewhat.
Witnesses say a Dodge Dart was speeding on Virgil Avenue, then hit a Toyota before crashing into the homeless camp on a sidewalk. A woman from Chicago has been arrested for falsely claiming a bomb was on a flight she missed in Florida. She and her party showed up too late last night in Fort Lauderdale to get on board, so she went the fake bomb route. The plane was already rolling out to the runway. It returned to the gate. All the passengers had to get off, and the plane was searched. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has signed a bill into law to overhaul voting in his state. It bans 24-hour polling places and drive-through voting, requires voters to request a vote-by-mail ballot, and allows more movement for poll watchers. Critics say the law will suppress votes in minority communities, but Governor Abbott says it will not.
No one who is eligible to vote will be denied the opportunity to vote. It does, however, make it harder for cheaters to cast an illegal ballot.
He says the law makes it easier for people to be able to vote. Supporters say the bill expands early voting and allows people to take time off from work to vote. A billionaire wants to build a new sustainable city in the desert.
Mark Lohr, a former Walmart executive, unveiled his plans for Tolosa. It's a 150,000-acre city made up of buildings with eco-friendly architecture, sustainable energy production, and a drought-resistant water system. The project says it would be a new model for society. Lohr says the final project will cost $400 billion that would come from various sources.